How are we all doing tonight? Sorry about the delay. Unfortunately, I'm a big football fan. But we're here tonight. We're going to be discussing our two-party system. And we do have issues with our two-party system. Better keep my glasses on, seeing how that way I can see the questions. Sorry about the reflection in my glasses, but I was at a League of Women Voters earlier today. I thought we were going to be discussing the ACA, or which is also known as Obamacare, but that turned out to be actually a Democratic rally where they're trying to fire up the Democrats over there. I mean, come on. What do you think's going to happen? Trump says he wants to repeal and replace Obamacare, and the Democrats are trying to instill fear into the people on thinking that Trump's going to just take Obamacare out of the picture altogether and leave them with nothing. I don't know. None of us know what he's planning on doing. So, in my beliefs, the state at this point in time should be preparing for, if the Republicans decide they are going to repeal Obamacare and just leave us out there hanging, the state should be prepared for this. They ought to have a contingent plan set up to help insure these people that are supposedly going to lose their insurance if he does repeal and replace. Now, at the rally that I went to today with the League of Women Voters, there was a bunch of high-powered Democrats there. Bernie Sanders was there. Debbie Stabenow was there. Gary Peters was there. Chuck Schumer was there. And all they're doing is trying to instill fear. Nobody knows what's going to happen if and when they actually repeal Obamacare. But I'm an independent. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I am an independent. I don't have any party lines to follow. I don't have to answer to either side. What we need to do is get a person like myself in there that doesn't have all these lobbyists behind me. I have turned down donations from some of the smaller corporations. My donations are coming in from you, the people. And that's the way we're going to keep running this campaign. Now, I may not have big money backing me, but we are doing very well out there talking to the people. We're getting around the Detroit Metro River, downriver there. We're reaching out to Flint. We're reaching out to Lansing. We're reaching out to Grand. People out there who have declared. We have a Green Party member. We have a Taxpayer Party member. We have 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, and then myself as an actual independent. Of course, MLive reported that my party affiliation is non. I like that. I'll accept that. But we need to get some other people on here. I see I have 13 right now, but we need more than that. So we're going to continue just talking about whatever you want to ask a question about. All these candidates that are out there, they're talking about the problems that Michigan has, but they're not giving us solutions for what they bring to the table. As far as I know, I'm the only one that's adding solutions on how we can fix the situations that we have going on. In my opinion, and this is not only my opinion, but my opinion, the two-party system is broken. How you doing tonight, Dave? I'm glad to see I finally got you to join one of our Todd Talks. Okay, you're bringing up a question about our auto industry for the insurance purposes of it. Yes, I do plan on lowering health insurance in Michigan. I'll give you a solid promise on this. When I'm elected governor, we will have lower health insurance and our auto insurance will go back to at fault. They've jacked us up. I mean, Michigan is 136% higher than the national average. I mean, do you realize how much money, well, I'm sure you do realize how much money we're spending on our auto insurance. It's ridiculous. You go to Ohio, you can get insurance for as low as 29 bucks down there, depending on your driving record. Matter of fact, my auto insurance is actually out of Ohio. Well, the office that I deal with, which is Liberty Mutual. You have insurance companies out of this state like General. They will not, the General, I guess it's called, auto insurance. They won't even come into Michigan because they have to charge us so much money for our auto insurance. And that's because of some of the guidelines that the state of Michigan has set. We need to stop this. We need to make it fair and affordable. After all, it's mandatory. Anything the government puts towards the people as mandatory needs to be affordable. As governor, I will make sure our auto insurance is affordable and our health care in Michigan is affordable. I have a plan for health insurance in Michigan. You will not see either the Democrats or the Republicans come up and tell you that they will put the brakes on insurance companies. I mean, after all, right now our corporate income tax, 6%. Our insurance companies are only paying 1.75. That isn't fair to the rest of the people in Michigan or the other corporations or businesses. Why do they get such a tax cut? Doesn't matter if they're a service provider or a manufacturer. The corporate income tax is supposed to be straight across the board, and it isn't. I hope that answered your question. And yes, I will be going against these insurance companies left and right to make sure that it is affordable here in Michigan. Fago, one of my favorites. But, I mean, I don't know how many people out there think that a Democrat is any different than our Republicans. They're all the same. They're going to do what their party lines tell them to do. And what their lobbyist and crony friends, as you like to call them, David, they're going to do what the money tells them to do instead of being like they should be. They should be listening to the people in their districts, and they're not. All they're doing is lining their own pockets and their party's pockets. This will all stop. I will bring in accountability. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. You will be held accountable by the people in your district. So I've had people ask me how we can hold them accountable. Well, it's simple. About 150 years ago, we used to have something called a people's grand jury, or a common law grand jury as it was known back then. I want to bring that back to Michigan. That puts you and I accountable to the people in our districts. And yes, that would even affect the person who is governor, any of the elected officials, law enforcement, judges. The people would have the power to hold them accountable, even remove them from office if that is what they choose. You have to have, Thomas Jefferson said, when you fear your government, that's tyranny. When the government fears the people, that's liberty. And I believe that 100%. We need to hold our elected officials accountable. Again, we have a two-party system that's not even fair for an independent to come in. And I'll give you an example of that. Signatures. If you are registered as a Democrat to run for an office, running for governor, let's use that for an instance. If you're a Democrat or a Republican, you are only required to gather 15,000 signatures. Not too shabby, still a job to get those. As an independent, or any of the other minor parties, such as Green Party, Tea Party, or not Tea Party, but yeah, Tea Party's one of them, Taxpayer Party, you have to have 30,000 to get on the ballot. So the system is against anybody. Governor, that also will change. It will be set up so that it is fair whether you're an independent or you're a major party candidate. These are the things that I want to change. These are the things that need to be changed to hold our elected officials accountable. So if you look at it that way, if we change the system so that it's fair, it's a win-win situation. Well, Dave, like I said, I don't have to listen to either party, but at the same time, I can cross both party lines if I choose to get the job done that needs to be done for the people. My ideas are for the people. They're not for any party whatsoever. I'm trying to answer your question the easiest way I know how. If I have to cross over and speak to a Republican to get the job done for the people, I'll do it. I get along with people real well, but I don't take crap from anybody as either. So my ideas for tax reform will bring jobs, and it'll ease the tax on the 80% of the people here in Michigan, which is actually the middle class that we need to rebuild here. If they oppose me, they oppose me. I'm not afraid of rejection. The idea is to get the job done for the people. Does that answer your question, Mr. David? All right. Who else do we have on here? Anybody? Oh. I was actually hoping for quite a few more people on here. Where are you all at? I'm wondering if this is crossing over into where it needs to be. It should be crossed over and hooked up with Twitter or Periscope, excuse me, as well. But that doesn't matter. We'll talk on here as long as I have to, and how many questions we get across, I'll answer as many as I can. So again, I went to what I thought was a discussion about Obamacare, which turned out to be a rally to fire up the Democratic side. In other words, in my opinion, and from what I've seen, they were trying to provoke fear in the people of Michigan that showed up. They had a pretty decent sized crowd there. I would say maybe 1,000 people, maybe at the most 1,500. That would be pushing it. But again, they had some pretty high-powered people there. I didn't know Bernie Sanders was going to be there, but he was. Chuck Schumer was there. Debbie Stabenow, Gary Peters. Of course, these are all high-powered Democrats. Every time I've gone to anything with the League of Women Voters, they've generally had both sides there. And this was a one-sided rally, just like I can imagine the one in Grand Rapids today with Gretchen Whitmer. They're all trying to instill fear in the people that the new president, Trump, is going to repeal without replacing Obamacare. Now, none of us know what he's going to do. We have not heard his plans yet. We haven't heard anything else, but they're all assuming he's just going to repeal Obamacare and leave everybody hanging. And that's what the Democratic side right now is trying to portray. And I think it's just a fear-mongering act. They realize here in Michigan, they couldn't even get their numbers right tonight. Brenda Lawrence was there. She's a U.S. Congresswoman in our 14th district up here in Michigan. And she was saying that if they repeal Obamacare, 618,000 people are going to lose their health insurance. Well, not more than 5 minutes later, Gary Peters gets up there to speak, and the words out of his mouth are 800,000 people are going to lose their health insurance if Obamacare is repealed. Now, come on, you're speaking at the same rally. You would think you'd have the ability to get your numbers the same, at least close to each other. And this tells me that these are more than likely fraudulent statements. Now, if they were to take Obamacare completely off the books, from what I understand, it would be closer to 400,000 people that would lose their insurance. Now, my numbers aren't any better than theirs, but the whole fact is, I don't believe that's what he's going to do. Yes, I do, David. I do support bringing in other insurance companies across state lines. It would open up the competition. Right now, you have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Humana, Cigna. They all have pretty much, especially Blue Cross Blue Shield, they pretty much have a monopoly in the state of Michigan. They actually have close to 2.3 million members on Blue Cross Blue Shield. They're a good insurance company. The only problem is the average cost for a family of four, if you're healthy in the state of Michigan, is between $1,200 and $1,600 a month, which that is not affordable for most people in Michigan. So how can we make this affordable? Well, when you got Daniel Lope, who is the president and CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, with a salary, or I should say a payment plan of $6.6 million, how's that a nonprofit? I mean, administration costs should never be that high. Our administrators, especially on a nonprofit organization, should not be making millions of dollars of salaries. I don't care how big they are. The money for a nonprofit is supposed to go to what the purpose of that nonprofit is. If you're the Salvation Army and you're paying your CEO millions of dollars, they can get a living wage. I understand that. They're running a big corporation. They can make a 6-digit salary. I understand that. But you're talking millions on millions of dollars. It's a nonprofit. It's supposed to be a charity, not something, or let me rephrase that, not a vehicle for somebody else to get rich. It's a nonprofit. It's a charity. Yes, I did hear that Rand Paul submitted a replacement plan for Obamacare. I haven't heard what the details are on it as of yet. I'm trying to watch both the Democrats and the Republicans. I don't personally believe Michigan is going to elect a governor from the Republican Party. Now we do have Jim Hines, who's up in Saginaw, and I want to say Cecil Cobbs out of maybe Pinconning. I don't have any of that in front of me. He's also a Republican. We have Gretchen Whitmer, which is a prosecuting attorney. She's a Democrat from Ingham County. In my opinion, she's just changing one form of corruption for another. I don't know if I should say that, but that's how I feel. I mean, our lawyers and judges are part of the problem here in Michigan as well. There's a rampant corruption in our courts, whether it be family courts or our criminal courts. We need to have some accountability with our judges. Don't waste my time watching the Dems unless I want to know what not to do. Well, it's a good thing to know what they're saying about you or what direction they're trying to go in. Whether you believe it or not, we still have people in Michigan that are diehard Democrats that don't realize that they're being lied to. Anybody who's a career politician, in my eyes, is lying to the people. So I believe that. I'm not a career politician. Matter of fact, I can't stand having this tie on, but hey, I got to look somewhat respectable, right? Uh, you know, Gretchen Whitmer so far is pretty much one of the biggest contenders on the Democrat side from the major parties. And again, she is a prosecuting attorney out of Ingham County, so she knows how to uh, sway the people, so to speak, because she's definitely swayed the judges in her towards her direction. Of course, if you go up against an attorney and you don't have one or you're not one, the judges always favor the attorneys because they all like going out and having dinner together, having drinks, playing golf together. So, I mean, we have a judge in Oakland County, Lisa Gorsuch. I don't mind saying her name for the simple fact, as far as I'm concerned, she's a big crook. She should be disbarred for what she done to those 3 kids over here last summer. Now, she got taken in front of the Judicial Tenure Committee, and after a year, they finally Hey, we're back. It's awful funny. I'm sitting right next to the Wi-Fi router and I lost connection on my laptop. That's good. I can understand that from my cell phone, but not my laptop. Maybe next time I'll just hard plug it into the router so they can't say that. But all she got out of the ordeal was 30-day suspension without pay. Doesn't matter that she abused her powers way past her bench. And now she has 3 children and are scared to death of the court system. But this is my plan for Michigan. Like I said, I have a solid promise out there that I will lower health insurance for the people of Michigan. I will lower auto insurance for the people of Michigan. We will fix our roads and schools, no question about it. I'm sure, I don't know how many of you realize that our gas tax went up 7.5%. I mean, think about it. We turned it down May of 2015 with the proposal 1. That was the Republican Democrats' way of supposedly raising money for our roads. They didn't want to tell you about the 10 laws that were hidden all behind this. Well, the people wisened up. They read what was in Proposal 1 and unanimously turned it down by an 80% vote. And the reason I feel that they turned it down, because I was one of them, I believe here in Michigan, we pay way too much taxes. Now, I've had people argue with me on one of my main campaign policies. I will eliminate our property tax on our primary residence only. If you own a second home, you can afford to pay the taxes on that second home. The reason I've said this is because right now in the state of Michigan, the number one reason people are losing their family homes is property tax. Anytime a local city or county needs money, or the state, they increase our property taxes. They know the people will fight tooth and nail to keep their home. So that's why they attach it to it. Well, I want to take that tool away from local and state government. Our homes are our castles, okay? That's where we raise our children. That's where most of us stay until we get too old to even take care of ourselves, and then our kids put us into a senior living home. But if by redoing our entire tax structure here in Michigan, I can cut between 14 and 20 billion dollars out of our already excessive taxes here in Michigan. Before they even raised our gas tax here in January, we were the 6th highest gas tax state in the nation. Now, with that 7.5 cent increase, I believe we're number 3 or 4. They've moved us up, but at the same time, our roads are one of the worst in the nation. And that's because even if you look at their numbers, they'll tell everybody that we pay 19 cents per gallon of gasoline. That's only half the truth. If you go to the American Petroleum Institute and look up Michigan, you will see that there's another clause on there that says other state taxes and fees. It's equal to almost 16 cents per gallon. Okay, even at that rate, if you listen to their numbers, 19 cents a gallon, they were only spending 13.7 cents a gallon on our roads. You ask them where the rest of the money's going, and they'll tell you it's going on our roads. That's a lie. They are misleading the people and lying to us blatantly. Before, when they used to lie and try to hide their corruption, they did it behind closed doors. Now they're doing it blatantly right in front of your eyes. Doesn't matter who our president is. I would love to see a woman president, just not Hillary. But it doesn't matter to me who our president is. We need a strong governor that will stand up to the people of Michigan. Excuse me. Sorry about that phone interruption. We need to get somebody in there who's going to stand. I don't have to answer to the Republicans. I have to answer to you, the people of Michigan. I will keep my promises to you. If something comes out of Washington that is against what is fair to the people of Michigan, we will nullify it as a state. There's no reason for our families in Michigan to go without health insurance, to go without auto insurance, and our veterans are even taken care of very badly. State of Michigan, when I'm elected governor, there will not be a veteran that will ever be turned down for health care. Our veterans have served our country. They deserve free health care for life. Our veterans. That has to be taken care of. Whether Washington does it or we do it as a state. It's their right. If anybody has a right to free health care, it's our veterans. They've stood up for all of our rights. So, I'm almost at the end of my time here. If I get some other party lines on here where they want to say something, I'll stay on longer. But I like to try to keep it to 30 minutes for the simple fact that I don't want to bore you too much. I can sit here and talk about whatever you want to talk about. I do have a plan for healthcare for Michigan. And it's unlike anything you've heard of or seen before. Well, you've probably heard of it, but you've probably never seen it. Anybody who ever wants to ask me a question on healthcare for Michigan, you ask me. I'll answer it, and I'll tell you truthfully how I plan to do it. I thank you for watching, and all of you have a good evening, and blessings to you all. Good night.